Okay, so good stuff, really good stuff. Keep it all coming. What do you think of frame within a frame? I was watching some videos about cinematography over the weekend, and they were talking about this as a framing element of how as viewers, one of the devices to bring order to the chaos.
Okay, this week's assignment is frame within a frame. And it's kind of similar to the one from just a few weeks ago, which was just framed. So, I'm at a friend's house over here visiting for the weekend, and I thought I would just do the assignment over here. And you saw the Christmas tree that was inside the house earlier. I figured the shot would be something I would use with that. Because if you look this way, over here, there is, right there, there's a Christmas tree through the window. Now I know it's daylight outside now. I actually did the picture last night already when it was dark, but I couldn't really film anything because it was dark. I got these little point and shoot cameras that I use, and they don't really do very well when it's not super bright outside. So I'm going to try to recreate the scene this morning, now that it's broad daylight, and kind of show you sort of what I did real quick. Okay, this is pretty much the scene. You're gonna have to excuse the exposure because it's really bright now in certain parts, and then it's kind of really dark in other parts, and it's kind of hard to balance any exposure that's going on now. But I brought the little what is this, the little Fuji X100 out this time because just to use something different. I didn't bring the XE2 out. So you're gonna have to use your imagination here. Pretend that light is on, pretend everything's dark, pretend the Christmas lights on the tree in the window, just pretend that that's all on, but everything else is dark, and again, this light is really bright. So all I ended up doing was putting the aperture down to about 11, and I think I put it onto timer mode with 2 seconds on the clock. Now the way the exposure is going to end up working is that tree and all that stuff will probably just come through, but then this light is going to completely blow the exposure out because of how bright it is. So the trick to balancing that out is just with a card. And just grab a card out of the wallet, and what you end up doing is you simply slide the card over part of your lens, the part that you think is going to be brightest and that you want to kind of knock the exposure down on. Just hold that over the 2 second exposure. I don't know, hold it for 1 second and then let it go. Hold it for 1 second, let it go, so that the dark part is getting the full 2 seconds of exposure. The really, really bright part is only getting maybe a second or a half a second, whatever your best estimate is. And in that way, you can kind of balance the exposure out just right inside the camera. It's like having a neutral density filter and then just taking the shot down by a stop. And the fact that there's a pillar here kind of worked out because it's like perfectly lined up with being able to block it out by the card, if that makes sense. This would probably make a lot more sense if I actually filmed this at night when it was happening, but sorry to say, but the cameras weren't picking up anything.